If you ask anybody that's firsthand knowledge of the game that's over 40, they will, 9 times out of 10 are going to tell you it was the worst game ever. The most disappointing board game of the 20th century, easily. The game's sort of defined by chaos, but these guys have figured out how to make sense out of chaos, which to me is genius. Just a really diverse group of people. You have, conservatives, you have liberals, you have Muslims, Christians, atheists. So when these conventions happen, you have a group of people that probably wouldn't hang out with each other. And yet this game brings, together, and despite their differences, they're united with the love of football.
I remember that. My dad had that. My brother had that. Well, tell them to come on back out. It's still here.
That's what's so special about this hobby. When we were kids, it moved all over the place. There was a scramble. We didn't know how to control which way they were going, where they were going. But now as adults, we've learned to tweak the bases, make them go where we want them to go.
The bases are the brains to the figure.
It's the only game in the world that mimics a sport almost to the letter. I mean, you play electric football, it's just like anything can happen, just like the real game. With the proper rules, there's nothing like it. It's almost like moving chess.
For real, it's not the pieces. It's not the game itself. You meet all kinds of different people. The friendships you make, the bonds you make, and it's just a game. But we play it like real football, and it is.
You have to understand it's more of a social game. It's something that you have a team that you can touch and feel. It's not just an image on the screen. You take pride in painting your team, detailing your team, practicing with your team.
You have excellent sculptors and decalers. The figures are different, they're more realistic. This hobby, this game, electric football, brings a variety of all races, all ethnic groups. It doesn't matter, it's one love, and that's the love of the hobby.
There's a misconception about the game that's always been, is that there's no control. Well, that's not so. Anyone that plays a game competitively will tell you that they know exactly what each man on the field does.
If I tell you my man is gonna go 15 yards and turn to the left, he's gonna do it. And if he don't do it, he's off my team. Like a real coach, you're cut, buddy.
And once you were able to do that, to apply strength, to get the direction you want out of them, suddenly you have strategy in the game. And when you have that strategy, it becomes a really competitive affair.
So electric football is a game that is played on a vibrating table. The little men have plastic prongs underneath them, and the vibration of the table happens so many times per second that it actually bounces the players. And when the players come down from the bounce, they move forward slightly.
And because we're controlling all 22 to 60 of our players, we're the coach. We're also the quarterback and everything else.
Electric football goes back to the beginning of the 20th century. In some form or fashion, people have marketed a game called electric football. The game that's played today was started by Tudor Company, which was a military contractor during World War II. After the rise of video games, it had less and less of a market share. It was Tudor, and then it got bought by Miggle, and then it went out of business. So there was no manufacturer for the game, which gave rise to this underground, because guys wanted to play, but they couldn't buy the stuff, so they had to create it themselves.
My name's Doug Strom. I'm president of Tudor Games. We've been making electric football games and accessories and equipment since 1947. So 68 years electric football has been in the psyche of America. I grew up with 4 sisters, so I was always inventing and playing with things. I got the opportunity to purchase Tudor Games and really make a dream come true for me, which is to own a company that I admired as a kid. I sent in pictures to them of inventions that I had done, hoping they would pick it up and do something with it. And so for me, it's really a dream come true.
We bought the company about 3 years ago, and we got the NFL license back August 1st of last year. Christmas sales were off the charts. We were so busy and so excited and sold tons of games. When we bought the company, it had kind of been dormant for a few years. The packaging was not modern, to say the least. He redesigned the game, so instead of it being a metal sheet that vibrated, now we've got kind of some upscale look with modern twist to it. Just a lot better for today.
I don't brag that much, but if you make me angry, then the Hulk will have to come out and he handle his business. See, they like to keep me calm and cracking jokes and all that, but if they make me angry, lights out. I smash them. What can I say? I'm one of the legends of the hobby. I've been playing since 1968. Every single Meagle/Tudor tournament, I'm the only one in the hobby that can say they've been to every single one of them. I spend hours and hours and hours per day, anywhere from 2 to 6 hours a day, preparing my team to get ready for a tournament that's coming up. During the regular season of our Great Lakes Electric Football League, I might spend an hour a day, but for a big tournament like this, I put extra time into it.
It's kind of dim. When I'm looking at the man, I focus in on the man, and it's like a spotlight, so I know where to hit him at. Okay. So we're going. That's the route I'm going this time. Getting old, man. My eyes getting bad on me.
If somebody says, "Why do you do it?" it would be for the people and the friendships. And I would say the electric football would be the last thing on the list. Even though that's a great game, love playing it, the friendships and hanging out with all the people in this sport, hobby, whatever you want to call it, that's my joy. Mr. National from Philadelphia, PA, peace.
The building of the team is crucial. It's not like when we was kids where you just get the base and put it on a man and hope for the best. You have to be a GM, you have to go find your talent, which means you have to go find the people who might make the figures that you might like personally for your squad. So you gotta build your figures up, you gotta go for base talent, and you have to find the perfect base for the perfect figure. It's real to us. These men almost talked to us on the way here. I wouldn't be the only coach that felt like that. Might be the only one saying it on camera looking like a fool, but hey, we hear these little guys talking. And sometimes they respond to a yell, a cry.
All right, here we go. Try to actually, all right.
My name is Barry. I'm from Oklahoma City, and I'm playing in the TOC Tournament of Champions here in Richmond, Virginia. And I brought with me the Dallas Cowboys that I painted and put together myself. It's a good thing about electric football, you can have anybody on your team as starters. I have Roger Staubach as my quarterback. I have Calvin Hill as a running back. I have Bob Hayes as a wide receiver. So all those guys from back in the 70s that I remember growing up with that I can now have and bring to life again. Ed Too Tall Jones, who is now living and tackling again, even though he can probably barely walk in real life. All the rules are different. For here, you have to come with your offense in dark, your defense in white, so there's no conflict on the field when you play. I have 60 at least players in dark when I'm in the dark jersey, and 60 offense and defense of the Cowboys in white. So there's a lot of time, there's a lot of money that goes into these things.
It's like a family reunion. You get to tell old war stories, old games, matchups, talk about figures, bases. The last time the family was around, their family, their kids. We watched everybody's kids grow up. Some take it real serious. Some just have fun with it. Me, I have fun with it. I've had my serious days, so now it's more of just relax and fellowship. Everybody can't be in the winner's circle. Took me a long time to find that one out though, because I tried so hard to be in the winner's circle. Now I'm on the decline, as they say. I just let them think that, but I'll be back.
I actually am a huge sports fan, especially football, so go Ravens. My husband is playing in the TOC, so he's in the other room. I have to say I was a little surprised to not see more females, because you do see the support, the wives, the families coming out and supporting. I met a young man who's going to play in the youth tournament. He was born here, but he's from France. He's living in France now. Just to see how far people go and just to see how big this is, it's basically a community in itself.
Around 1995, I heard about a convention going on for Meagle toys. So I went there and things just exploded for me. In fact, I've traveled a lot to all over the country to play in tournaments and leagues. It's just been my favorite hobby right now.
The level of dedication, guys will drive 6 hours to play 3 games of electric football and then drive home. That's the, level of dedication that I don't see for anything.
We think of the game of electric football in 3 ways. It's a sport, it's a hobby, and it's an artistic endeavor. So if you're really into it, you want your team to be authentic to a certain year, to a certain set of players who played at that time. A lot of people think, oh, electric football, I used to know that product. Does anybody play that anymore? Would a kid even like that game anymore? The answer is yes, they love it.
I've had guys paint teams for me that do a wonderful job. Then I decided I'm just going to do this myself. So in my man cave at home, I've got a little work table that has a bench and one of those lights that makes your eyes look giant when you look through it, right? One of those magnifying lamps that look great. You got to get all that stuff to really do it right. So you either go big or you go home when you try to do this kind of thing. Some people don't care that their teams look like they just got out of bed in the morning. But maybe they play. But I like them to look good because I find a really classy looking team on the field is a little bit intimidating, so it gets in people's heads.
This year, I made me an Incredible Hulk team, decaled it, painted it up, based them, and last night's tournament came in the Final Four and played in the TOC Championship where it's only 8 teams, and I finished in the Final Four again. So I can hold my head up, but I won this thing before. It's hard to win, but when you do win it, it's gratifying.
I put him in place, I show him that I'm still pretty good at this because he whoops me in Madden. He embarrasses me in the video games, so I have to embarrass him equally in electric football. I've been playing since I was a kid, and then took some time off. Didn't know that it was even a sport. As soon as I got back into it, I started getting him into it, and now he plays. He's going to play today, actually. And win, according to him. I'm a teacher. I teach middle school, social studies. Kids these days are so into technology that it's nice to get them away from that. Here you have to talk to somebody, not a computer screen. You have to interact and be able to manage yourself and things like that. So that's kind of what it does for me. That's all I have to say. Other than it's good father-son time. Great father-son time. First trip away, right?
Sales at the convention have been great. We have sold to a lot of adults, but as soon as the kids come up, if they're with an adult, the adults are buying it for them because they know that to keep this going, we need as many kids involved as possible. You get one kid hooked, their friends get involved and somebody else gets involved, and then you've got a community of kids playing after school. Instead of sitting behind a video game controller doing this, they have to sit there across from each other and talk to each other. So there's all kinds of educational things that go with it. You learn how to resolve conflicts. You learn how to figure things out.
I'm Lynn Schmidt. I'm one of the founders of the MFCA, which we started back in 2007, which is the Miniature Football Coaches Association. We have a number of different regional events that happen across the country, and each one of those events comes away with a champion. That champion then gets a spot in the Final 8, which happens on Sunday. Right now we're still in pool play for the day, but we are going to be getting into the championship rounds here just shortly.
My name is Keith Chalmers. They call me Big Keith or Salty. I'm from Washington, D.C. Here to play electric football. I'm not the strongest, I'm not the slowest, but I play mind games with people. They don't like to play me because I play mind games. Times I'll talk trash. I may take my shoe off and rub my foot on your leg while you're doing something, or rub the top of your hand before you pass, pinch your cheek, throw kisses at you. I do all kinds of stuff to have fun. It's a good hobby. It's a family-oriented hobby. We have kids play, women play, as you say, old men, young men, it doesn't matter. It makes you a better player, but no, you don't have to know the game. You can just set them up and just have fun. You come to tournaments like this or league plays in different cities and states, you see it's a little more than just turn the board and watch them do whatever they do. Now you learn how to set them up like a real team.
Hi, I'm John DiCarlo. I'm the commissioner of the Charlotte Electric Football League in Rochester, New York. We're the oldest electric football league in the United States since 1981. And you might have seen us, we were the subject of a mini documentary by ESPN called It's Not Crazy, It's Sports, the Subterranean Stadium. Been thousands of games played down there, thousands over the years. It's a shrine to electric football. So how much longer we can keep this going, who knows? Most of us are up there We got a couple of young guys in the league, but most of us have been playing since we were kids, and we're now into our late 50s or 60s. So for us, it's the hourglass doesn't have nearly the sand in it used to have. You have to have dedication and good friendship to keep it going, and that's the fun of it. It's this human part of it, that's it, that you're not playing against a machine. I think it's the neatest board game ever made, and its longevity proves it. It's still going today after all these years.
You know, and I'll keep playing it and helping anybody who wants to know anything about it, wants to do anything with it. It doesn't hurt me at all to help you. I want you to be as good as I am, so that when we play, it's a much better game. So you can enjoy it just like I do, and you can share it to the next guy or the girl, because the girls are getting into it now.
My name is Amaya. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Well, my dad and my brother have played for many years, and I wanted to play. I know one girl who plays electric football. She says it was really fun, and that's another reason why I wanted to play. I do think that girls should play this because it's not technically a boy game. They get embarrassed because they have to tell all their other friends that they got beat by a girl.
And a lot of us grew up playing football or liking football, and you can go in different areas. You can go into collecting, you can go into painting, you can go into building stuff, innovating stuff, or you can just be a straight up competitor. It's okay to live vicariously through your little men on the field, but you know, we're grown men, you know, so keep it in perspective. And but it's fun when you can watch the grown men become 12 again, you know, it's like, all right, yeah, that's cool. I build fields, and I've been building them since '98. Was when I built my first scale field. That idea of the perfect field has been kind of like mulling around in my head. This was the first day that 21 big fields have been in one room. So that was a personal dream of mine coming true right there.
Well, the game is the game. It's football. I mean, even though it's electric and it's plastic and it's toys, or a hobby as we like to call it, it's still football. Besides the game, it's just the fellowship of the friends, and it's like these guys are family. We see each other maybe 5-6 times a year, but every time you see them, it's just like, seeing your long-lost brother after a long time. We sit around and we play football in a hotel with a whole bunch of guys. We're not out running the streets and things of that nature. So a lot of the wives come down, and we're very appreciative for the ones that come to support. But, even the ones that don't, I think they pretty much know that we're, what we're doing, and that we're just out here having a good time.
I'm Coach Billy C. This is my son, Coach Isaiah. We call him the Boy Wonder. We're originally from Philly. We live in Paris, France now. Been there for 4.5 years.
I got to learn new stuff about electric football with not just the youth, which I play with, but the older people. They taught me new strategies, tweaks, how to use bases on different positions.
I told him that he wasn't allowed to eat unless he played electric football. So that's how we did that. I threatened him a lot, actually, now.
And it's kind of funny, we're like best of friends, but then when we actually play in a competitive situation, I mean, you'll see guys put their ears back, and you'll see that old football spirit come out in them. To see guys' nature change when they actually get down to the competition.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, it's over.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah.
I lost to him 7-0 in Sweet 16 yesterday. It was a head-to-head game. This one, he just had the formula today, and I couldn't shut him down quick enough. So he's a good competitor. There's lots of personalities in this league, and he's one of them.
I just feel like a sense of accomplishment. I've been playing this game since I was 9 years old, and I'm 55. And I'm just totally elated. It's a great feeling to be on top of the electric football hill. I'm just full right now. I just feel fantastic. They say winning isn't everything, but it sure feels good.
But ultimately, it's the joy of playing that game, and that one special moment when that one play happens that you've been working on forever, that breaks open, surprises your opponent. And when that happens, that's the most ecstatic moment in any time, even sometimes more than winning.
These games, you take away things that are actually tools that you can use in everyday life. It teaches you, one, honesty. Integrity is everything. Patience, that you're not going to always get your way, compromise, and sometimes even sacrifice. I think it's helping to build them, and it's good for the thought processes also.
This is why we do this, to meet new people and introduce everybody to this hobby we love.
Just the food alone and the beer, it's been a lot of fun over the years. And a game that people thought didn't exist or was gone, but it's not. It's very much alive.
You know, we're a little silly and a little crazy sometimes. As you can see, I've got this silly get-up on. My mission or goal has already been accomplished this weekend. I had a fun time playing today.
If we can bring electric football back to even a shred of its previous self, you know, we'll be really thrilled with that.
It's better than real football, I think. It's fun, it's engaging, and the artwork's great. I love just looking at it in motion.
It's a throwback. It's a throwback. And we're all throwbacks. So we got one thing in common. We can't let it go.